How to build muscle so fast it feels like cheating. What's good YouTube? My name is Kosi, aka King Kosi, aka the Big G. Over the past couple of years, I've managed to build a lean muscular physique. And through my journey, I've gone through a lot of trials and error. I've made mistakes and I've figured out what exactly works. And in this video, I'm gonna save you the hassle of going through the same trial and error that I did. And I'm gonna condense all my knowledge and experience into 5 major steps that you can take to build a lean muscular physique so fast that it will look like cheating. Number 1, lift heavy. What muscle basically is stored strength. So if you wanna grow your muscle, you need to grow strength. A lot of people think that the best way to build muscle is to do high reps with easy weight or light weight. I personally thought this myself. I made the same mistake myself. But it wasn't until I switched my training to do heavy weight that I started to see the results that I have today. The easiest way to get your muscle to grow is to lift heavy weight. You need to lift weight that would actually challenge you. It's not supposed to feel easy. When you're in the gym and you're lifting weights and it feels too easy, then it's time for you to increase the weight. You should start to get to failure when you're at rep 6, rep 7, rep 8, around that rep range. That's the best rep range to be in. The weight should be heavy enough that you start to get to failure around rep 6, 7, and 8. That should be the rep range that you're in your working sets. When you're starting to get to plus 10 reps and 11, 12, 13, 14, then what you're doing basically is a warm-up. You're not challenging your muscle. So when you're lifting weights in the gym, especially when you're doing compound exercises, it should be heavy enough that you start to get to failure around rep 6, rep 7, and rep 8. All that high rep BS, the 15 rep, 12 rep, 16 rep, 20, you shouldn't be doing that much reps. If you're able to do that much reps with a certain weight, then it's time for you to increase the weight. The weight is not challenging enough. I used to train that same way because I used to look at bodybuilders online and I saw that they just do a lot of reps. And I thought that the best way to build muscle is to just rep out as much as I can and try and keep the weight moderately heavy or sometimes even light. And the way I looked back then is very different from the way I look now. And what I changed was I started to lift heavy weights. Another thing I did is I also started to focus on compound exercises. Bench press, squats, deadlifts, dips, rows, all those kind of exercises. They help you build the most muscle possible. They help you build muscle overall because they target different muscle groups at the same time. So when you're going to the gym, you need to focus on doing compound exercises. Do your bench press, and when you do your bench press, go heavy on your bench press. When you do your deadlifts, go heavy on your deadlifts. When you do your squats, go heavy on your squats. You definitely don't want to be skipping squats. I know a lot of people skip squats. I used to be the same way because I just didn't like the way it felt. But squats, I'm telling you, if you do squats, your physique is gonna change a lot because squats just train a whole lot of muscles. They train your core, they train your back, even your chest. They train most of your legs. Squats increases your testosterone, which helps you to build more muscle overall. So doing squats is literally a cheat code. You need to do squats. Do not skip leg day. Do squats and go heavy on your squats. Do rows as well, bent over rows, do dips, do pull-ups. You could do weighted pull-ups as well, weighted dips as well. This would help you to add more weight whilst you're doing these exercises. So do compound exercises and go heavy on your compound exercises. This is a change that I made in my training routine, and not only have I gotten a lot stronger, I've also built a whole lot of muscle mass. For my chest, I do bench press, could be incline, could be flat bench press, and I try to go as heavy as I can on bench press, and that's helped me to take my chest development to another level. For my back, I do deadlifts or pull-ups, weighted pull-ups preferably because I can add some weight to the pull-ups. If you can't do weighted pull-ups, you can do normal pull-ups, and then as you get stronger, you can add some weight and do weighted pull-ups. I do dips as well, weighted dips. That helps with your triceps and your lower chest. And then squats for legs. You also want to do shoulder presses as well and rows as well. These are very crucial exercises that would help you to build a solid muscle base and help you to increase and grow your muscle. You can do isometric exercises like cable flies and leg extensions and all that sort of stuff. But you want to make sure that you prioritize compound exercises. You can do compound exercises first, and then when you're done with that, you can go and do isometric exercises. Prioritize compound exercises and go heavy on your compound exercises. Obviously, do it safely. Don't ego lift and lift weight that you know that you definitely cannot handle. Lift weight that you know that you can handle, but go as heavy as you can. Challenge yourself. Don't do lightweight. Your training is not supposed to feel easy. That's why it's called training. It's not easy. It's not play. So challenge yourself in the gym if you want to grow muscle. Lift heavy weight. Number 2, progressively overload. What this basically means is increasing the weight or the reps of the exercises that you do over time. So whilst you're training in the gym and lifting heavy, as you get stronger, the weight that you're used to lifting, the weight that feels heavy for you, it's not going to feel heavy for you over time because you get used to it. As you build more muscle, you become more capable of handling that weight. So you want to increase the weight gradually. When you notice that a certain weight is no longer heavy for you, you add some weight to it. When you do deadlifts, let's say you usually do 200 pounds on deadlifts. When that becomes easy for you, as you grow muscle, you want to increase the weight. So you want to add like 5 pounds on top of it, or 10 pounds on top of it, or 15 pounds on top of it, depending on how stronger you get. Another way you can do it is you can increase the reps. So if you don't want to go the route of increasing the weight, you can increase the amount of reps that you do. So let's say on bench press, you're lifting 200 pounds, and by the time you get to rep 6, you can't go any further. When you notice that you can easily get to rep 6, then you want to try and do more reps. You want to try and get to rep 7, get to rep 8, and maybe even 9. As the weight gets easier for you, you can increase your reps. Increase your weight or increase your reps. That's how you progressively overload, and that's how you build muscle. Think of your muscle as your employee or your student. If you give it more work, it's gonna adapt to doing more work. If you just keep doing the same thing, then it's just gonna stay the way it is. So you wanna progressively overload. As you lift heavy in the gym, as you train hard, the easier it gets for you, you wanna add on more difficulty. So just think of it as like a video game. You start with easy mode, and when you get used to easy mode, when easy mode becomes too easy for you, then you progress over to maybe level 2. And then when level 2 gets easy for you, you progress to level 3, and then you go to level 4 and go to level 5. That's how you build muscle consistently. Progressively overload. Number 3, train each muscle group 2 times a week. The 2 most common mistakes people make when they try to build muscle is either they overtrain or they undertrain. And this is because a lot of people don't understand that the best way to build muscle is to train each muscle group twice a week. This is how you build muscle. That way you're not overtraining and you're not undertraining. I've personally experienced this myself. The times that I used to go to the gym and train every time, the times I used to go to the gym 7 days a week, I wasn't growing as much muscle as I'm growing right now. Also, the times I wasn't going enough, I wasn't getting enough results. The most common mistake people make when they want to build muscle is that they tend to overtrain. They want to go to the gym as much as they can. I used to be the same way. I thought that if I just train more, I'll be able to build more muscle. But that's very far from the truth, because muscle actually does not grow when you're in the gym. You're actually breaking down your muscle when you're in the gym. Muscle grows when you're recovering. So you break down the muscle in the gym, and when you're recovering is when the muscle actually grows. 2 times a week training for each muscle group is the best way to trigger each muscle group to grow as much as they can, and they also have enough time to recover. But when you overtrain, when you're training each muscle group 3, 4, 5 times a week, your muscle is just overtrained and there's not enough time for it to recover. And in this case, they even tend to shrink. This is why a lot of people look skinny fat, because they're overtraining. When you're training too much, your muscles, you have some muscle, but it's just not big enough. It's not getting big enough because they're overtrained. There's not enough time for it to recover, for it to repair, for it to put itself together and grow. And on the other hand, if you don't train enough, then you're just not stimulating the muscle enough to grow. So the sweet spot to be in is to train each muscle group twice a week. And the best way to do this is to have a good workout split. You can do push-pull legs, you can do upper body, lower body, you can do full body. Whatever workout split that gives you the system to train each muscle group twice a week is a good workout split. So I mentioned push-pull legs. Push-pull legs is when you do your push muscles on a Monday, let's say, do your pull muscles on a Tuesday, do your legs on a Wednesday. And then you repeat, do push on a Thursday, do pull on a Friday, and do legs on a Saturday. That way you're going to the gym 6 days a week and you're training each muscle group twice a week. You can do upper body, lower body, which is the one I do right now. So you do upper body on a Monday, lower body on a Tuesday, rest on a Wednesday, upper body on a Thursday, lower body on a Friday. Or you can do full body. So you do full body on a Monday and maybe rest till Thursday or rest till Friday and do full body again. So it all depends on you. If you want to go to the gym 6 days a week, then perhaps push-pull legs is the best split for you. If you want to go to the gym 4 days a week like I do, then upper body, lower body is the best split for you. If you want to go to the gym 2 days a week, then full body is the best split for you. So whatever split that you have, just make sure that you're training each muscle group twice a week. Not 3 times a week, not 4 times a week, not 1 time a week. Twice a week. This is why I advise people against bro splits. You don't want to be doing bro splits, because when you do bro splits, you're usually not training each muscle group twice a week. Bro splits are when you go and train chest on a Monday, you go and train arms on a Tuesday, you're going to train back on Wednesday, just picking out a single body part to train on each day. Usually you don't have enough days in the week to do all that and train each muscle group twice a week. So bro splits are usually not very ideal when it comes to maximizing your muscle growth, because there's just not enough days in the week for you to even if you go 7 days a week, there's not enough days in a week for you to train each muscle group twice a week whilst training one muscle group per day, unless you want to go to the gym twice a day, which is not even ideal for recovery. So avoid doing bro splits and pick a proper workout split that would help you to train each muscle group twice a week. This is also why I like to do compound exercises, because when you do compound exercises, you can kind of train multiple muscle groups at the same time. So when you're doing squats, you're training your hamstrings, your glutes, your quads, your calves, everything in your legs. When you're doing bench press, you're training your triceps, your chest, your shoulders, your front delts, your core. When you're doing pull-ups, you're training most of your back. So compound exercises is a good way to train multiple muscle groups at the same time and spend less time in the gym. I like to go and do my workout in less than 1 hour. So I want to go in the gym and come out as soon as I can. I don't want to live in the gym. So that's the best way to go to the gym and get your workout done very, very quickly. So make sure you train each muscle group twice a week. That is the best way to optimize muscle growth, because you're training enough and you're recovering enough. Number 4, eat more protein. Protein is the building blocks of muscle. When you break down your muscle in the gym, you need protein to put the muscle together and to help the muscle grow. So if you want to build a lean muscular physique, you need to have a high protein diet, because this is what your body needs to build muscle. 50% of your diet should be protein. That's the way I do it. 50% of my diet is protein. I eat protein and every other thing, and that has helped me to build as much muscle as I can build naturally. You just want to eat as much protein as you can. And you want to eat your protein at least an hour after your workout, because when you break down your muscle in the gym, you need protein to help your muscle recover and to build back even stronger. So get some protein in your system at least an hour after your workout. I like to have my meals at least an hour after my workout. And since I started doing that, I've seen the best results when it comes to muscle growth. The longer you wait to eat some protein after your workout, the more gains you leave on the table. Protein also helps you stay lean, because your body takes about 30% energy to digest protein. So just by eating enough protein, your body is gonna have high metabolism. So if you wanna stay lean and muscular, then you wanna eat as much protein as you can. That's the good thing about protein. You can eat a lot of protein and not gain a lot of fat, because your body takes a lot of energy to digest protein. And protein also helps to hold on to muscle and build muscle. So even if you're on a weight loss journey, you're trying to lose some fat, it will be beneficial for you to eat as much protein as you can, because when you eat enough protein, your body holds onto your muscle whilst you're losing fat. If you're not eating enough protein and you're trying to lose fat, you're gonna lose muscle whilst you're losing fat, especially if you do a lot of cardio. When you're doing cardio, your body doesn't choose to burn fat only. You could be burning muscle as well. So if you don't eat enough protein, you could be burning muscle whilst you're losing weight. So you wanna eat enough protein to hold onto your muscle and to grow enough muscle. You wanna eat at least 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. What this simply means is if you weigh 50 kilos, you want to eat at least 100 grams of protein per day. This is optimal for muscle growth. What I do is I just eat as much protein as I can, because I don't like to track how much food I eat. I don't like to weigh my food or track my calories or do all that counting stuff. I don't like to do all that. So I just eat as much protein as I can. Like I said, most of my diet is protein. So I just eat loads of meat, loads of chicken. I just eat loads of protein. And since I started doing that, I've had the best results when it comes to muscle growth. So eat as much protein as you can if you want to grow muscle. And lastly, number 5, you need to sleep at least 7 hours every night. Sleep is the highest form of recovery everyone can get. When you sleep, your body produces all the hormones that it needs to grow muscle and to burn fat. You grow the most muscle when you sleep. So if you want to build as much muscle as you can, it will be very beneficial for you to get at least 7 hours of sleep per night. If you can't get 8 hours, if you can't get 9 hours, I know a lot of people can't afford to sleep that much because you have things to do, but the more sleep you get, the more muscle you grow. So you need to prioritize sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, you're basically putting all the effort that you put in the gym to waste. It's like breaking down all your muscle and doing all this work, and then you don't even give your body the chance to recover and build itself back up. When you don't sleep enough, you start to eat the wrong things. You start to eat unnecessary snacks because you're up late at night. And when you're up late at night, we all know how that goes. You just eat the worst things. So you're not eating right, and because you're not sleeping enough, you have low energy the next day. So you can't even train hard in the gym. You can't push yourself. You can't progressively overload. You can't do the things that you need to do to put your body in the best position to grow muscle. So you need to prioritize sleep. Your body produces testosterone when you sleep as well, and testosterone is very crucial for building muscle. The more testosterone you have, the easier it is for you to build muscle. So prioritize sleep. Plan for your sleep if you need to. Switch off your TV when it's time for bed. Switch off your phones when it's time for bed. Switch off your laptop. Do everything that you need to do to get the best sleep. You don't want to be eating too close to your bedtime, because when you're digesting food, you're not going to get the best sleep. You also shouldn't be drinking too much fluids before your bedtime, because when you do that, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night to go and pee, and that interrupts your sleep. So plan for your sleep if you need to, so you can get at least 7 hours of sleep. Sleep is inevitable if you want to build muscle. You need to sleep. Just going to the gym is not enough. You need to recover. Your body needs to recover. And the best recovery you can get is whilst you're sleeping. So prioritize sleep, and that would help you gain more muscle. Do these 5 things and you will build a good amount of muscle very quickly. Like the video, subscribe to get updates on the channel. Share the video to anyone that needs this information. Comment your thoughts. Feel free to ask me for advice in the comment section. I'm always available to give advice, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.